Just you and me, baby. Hey, I'm glad you took the time just to get away. You could have been anywhere, but you're here today. Chillaxing, blowing all the days away. I'm loving every bit of how you're digging me, caressing every inch of my body. I'm so happy that you came with me. Come with me. Do you believe? And do you, baby? So just you and me, baby.
Mojo, hey, kicking like Kodo. Hey, fuck what you saying? I don't walk on Maine, I stay in that polo. Dragging Komodo, come with that bullshit, get kick out the dojo. My wrist is too cold in the cold with no coat on. She popping at me some for pills and promo. Sweat for the Lolo, wheels a low pro. I'm the baddest mother, shut your mouth, homie. I'm the baddest mofo. The rofo deep in the stolo. Hop like hello, rock bottom to the people's elbow. I come with the stick like a violin and get beat with the cello. You selling fish, we ain't buying it. All of my niggas get violent. Clip look like an extension cord. Look like we never heard of wireless. Every moment that a young bull live, grinding and shining, my niggas, it's timeless. I kill everything, I ain't even in my prime yet. Gorilla on the beat, man, I'm talking primate. Sit back, give me a sec, the man respect, the man is back. Test the cat, matter of fact, click clack, lay back, bow, yeah. Yeah, this is, yeah, I'm in my zone now. I done came up now, I get on now. I done did it by myself, I own now. Yeah, play with that rent money, better stop frontin'. I stay with that Ray, let it nugget, stop bugging. I dump at your auntie, your sister, your cousin. I know the feeling of what wasn't, what wasn't. I can't stand me, I hate him off. Looking off, tripping like a nugget, own something. Hand out like a nugget, owe something. Keep my new, well, that my old woman. I know what it is and I know what it ain't. Stacks out the box on the way to the bank. I be 12 deep, still riding solo, cause I got the mojo, the mojo. I jump on like yellow, I out with the fofo. I know she a horror, I go where I can't go, cause I got the mojo. I whip a 2 on a photo, I whip a 2 to a photo. Hey, I do what I want and I do what I can, cause I got the mojo. Hey, cause I got the mojo. Hey, cause I got the mojo. Hey, I know she a horror, I go where I can't go, cause I got the mojo. Hey, cause I got the mojo. Hey, cause I got the mojo. Hey, I do what I want and I do what I can, cause I got the mojo.
DC Radio brings to you the app. Yes, the app is now available on your Google Play and your App Store, on your iPhone or your Android, any of your pads that you might be using. Be it if it's an iPad, iPad mini, or if you have a Samsung Note, doesn't matter what you have, any mobile device, you can get the app so you can listen where you're at to Win DC Radio.
All I really want to see is the money. I don't really need a D, I need the money. All a bad need is a KC.
Hey, this is China Pink from the 2018 award-winning Best of Radio Talk Show of the Year. Make sure you tune into the Ladies of the China Pink Talk Show each and every Sunday on Win DC Radio from 5 to 7. Make sure you check us out on Facebook Live and YouTube Live to hear our amazing show. We are also available for hosting events or parties. Please contact the China Pink Show at AOL.com for booking information. I'll catch you next Sunday at 5.
Foreplay the Orgasm Show. I am your host, Hot Toddy, along with the Turn Up team, Miss Lolly and Showtime. Foreplay the Orgasm Show is each and every Tuesday night from 8 to 10, bringing you the sexy slow jams with very adult interactive conversation, only on Win DC Radio.
Man, look, y'all already know what time it is. It's your boy, Gerard Street Garvey, and my DJ, Kid Cannon. And when we together, you know what it is. Grind Season Radio, each and every Wednesday from 8 to 10 on Win DC Radio. Don't forget it. Yeah.
We hope you didn't go too far. It's time for the second hour of the Balancing Act radio show, hosted by AJ Throwback, only on WinDCRadio.com and the WinDC Radio app, powered by GoWin.media.
We bike, and we bike on the live. The live is finally up. If you're watching on the live, thank the Lord. Yes. Shout out everybody that's tuning in on the live. Shout out my man Sideshow Molly, who won the Fish Grease Pick of the Week, People's Choice Edition with I Got the Mojo. Shout out everybody. Hey, Alicia. Yeah. Tuned in, you know what I'm saying? Ready for this interview that's about to happen. You know, with our main man Derrick Jones, but we gotta intro him properly as we always do at this time.
Whether they're artists, athletes, entrepreneurs, politicians, activists, or simply folks you need to know, we've got the line to the movers and shakers of DC, Maryland, Virginia, and beyond. This is 15 minutes of game on the Balancing Act radio show.
Yes. And as I said, we have our special guest in the building, Mr. Derrick Jones.
Right.
Card Logic.
Right.
Yeah. Man.
So you want?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm happy to be here, man.
That's
I'm just
good.
here just trying to get some exposure and trying to get people to get that little light bulb to go off in their head that's kind of dim most of the time.
I can attest to that from time to time. Absolutely. So, before we get into explaining Card Logic, I want to get into your background a bit. So, are you still currently with NASA?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's pretty awesome. Like we got a black man at NASA, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? Like that's awesome in and of itself.
20 years, man. It's coming up on 20 years, so I've been there for a little while.
Yeah. So what do you do at NASA specifically?
Software engineer.
Software engineer.
So I'm
okay.
in IT. So that lended a lot of the skill set that comes along with Card Logic and troubleshooting and things like that and strategy and those type of things. So yeah, and that's funny that because I didn't even think software, but that makes sense because looking at the layout and everything, like the IT part of Card Logic, I'm like, man, this is like laid out like really well. Yeah. Like, man. And I was wondering if you did that yourself or if you had somebody. But as far as what?
The graphics and everything.
I do most of the stuff I do in-house.
Okay.
So I always call myself the graphics MacGyver because I don't know anything about Photoshop, but I can get 10 apps that I can drag and drop and I put them all together and I put puzzles together. So I make it look like I did in Photoshop, but it's not.
Man, I mean that's half the battle right there when it comes to, and I mean the fact that what you do has to do with visual. Right. You know, the visuals. Right. I think that's very important, that the visuals are like really clean, really, professional looking and everything, because I think it appeals to people more when you can get their attention just on that level right there, and then with what you do with Card Logic. Right. So so
that's a very big part of why I even created this, because it's close. This is how I learned. I learned by doing and seeing versus you just talking and saying whatever it is. The information might be good, but it doesn't catch until I can actually see it and do it. So that was kind of like the building block to even get to what I'm doing now. And I think why I know your approach to it speaks to me, because that's exactly the same way that I learn. Right. Like, I know a lot of people, like I can read a book all day. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I have frankly always learned better through television and through music. You know what I'm saying? Or anything that's like audio. Right. But specifically music. Right. But like you having the audio visual presentation like that, like that's to me what sets Card Logic apart from like anything else like that. Right. So let's dig into it a little bit. So I was watching the episode, and like you have a short description, but I kind of wanted to read one of the longer descriptions you had. And you said Card Logic is a way for me to visually work through your emotions and your emotional decisions using something as simple as a deck of playing cards. Right. And what I wanted to ask you was, why cards? Like of all things, like, and it's not a knock, because I actually think it's a great concept. But like,
what specifically jumped out to you about cards to use that as your visual way of working through people's emotions?
Well, the way that it plays out, because I'm like this super hyper OCD analyst, but I try to what I'm very good at is translating technical things into layman's terms.
Okay.
And I'm a visual person, almost kind of like a poet. So I always think in things of like I look around the room, I see metaphors and analogies and those type of things.
Yeah.
So the cards come into play because I was looking for something portable, and I was looking, and when you look at the cards, like I don't know if your audience can see, but I have like a black deck and a red deck here, right? So automatically I can make an analogy based on color.
Yeah.
Right? Then I can make analogies based on color plus a suit, or face cards versus number cards, or when you flip the card, even though this is a face card, the color is white versus the black and the red. So you can do an infinite amount of analogies versus, I just saw, I think it was a pastor or preacher online like yesterday, and he did some kind of analogy with a $20 bill, and he stomped on it, and he was like, it still doesn't, no matter how much you get stomped on, it still retains its value.
Yeah.
But he can only use that for that one one thing.
Yeah.
So I wanted something that I could carry around, and depending on whatever the topic is, I can build on that with all of the different attributes that have to do with these cards. And I even have like these, like this set here, this is specifically for if you're not looking down at the table, like let's say I'm in front of an audience, I can hold these up and you can see these from a long distance. Or I can get a bunch of people to each hold a card, and now the people become the demonstration.
Yeah.
So it's just, that's how my mind works. Like I'm always calculating like, okay, the what if. So like with this, I knew that I probably can't use these. I have to use this. So that's
Came prepared.
But that comes with research, because I have to, just like you research me, I looking at the layout and the camera angles. Like that's how my brain does the IT guy.
Yeah. You came prepared. Definitely. I like that. So I wanted to ask you about a quote that you had on your episode. And shout out, before we continue, gotta shout out my man ADST.
Oh, absolutely.
Music, you know what I'm saying, for linking us together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you actually had him on Card Logic. Was it a couple of times, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So in one of the episodes, you said, I think before he came on camera, you said, oh no, I think y'all were in the middle of talking. So you said, even people who make the journey into entrepreneurship, it's what I call a war of sameness.
Yep.
Like everybody's fighting to be the same person, and the same thing is like that in music too.
Right.
We've been trained to follow. Embracing your purpose is also about being unique and being an individual and finding out what your unique gifts are. So I wanted to ask you like about that quote specifically when it comes to your concept of Card Logic and how you've been living that out with that, and then in other areas of your life as well.
Well, when you do, just like any other, and this actually didn't start out as like a business. It's still growing, but this was just me getting off my need to teach and coach and just to kind of help people. And when you look at it from a business perspective, you do market research. You look at what everybody else is doing, and you have motivational speakers, and you have life coaches, and you have people, the first approach for me to stand out is to go visual, right, versus audio. And then from there, I need a niche, something that people can attribute to me. And if I'm standing against the line of 100 different motivational speakers, why is he different?
Yeah.
And so that's what I always preach to any type of business that you do. Innovation is key. You have to figure out what's going to make you different, because that's going to last you a lifetime versus a very short amount of time.
Right. Yeah, and that's definitely important, because it lends itself to branding, because you've branded yourself very well. I mean, you got the T-shirts going on.
I'm doing it in phases, because I don't want to kill myself. But I have some apparel coming. I have coaching courses that I'm going to offer. So if there's like a subject like relationships, I'll break it down, and you can actually order video courses on that subject and be able to replay the different topics that you specifically want to learn about. They'll be there for you, for like basically on demand. Right. So that's where the monetization comes in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because this is fun.
Yeah, but you gotta make that money. I feel you, brother. I feel you. So I wanted to talk to you about like one of the most powerful visuals that I saw from the episodes that I've seen. So in your episode, Your Energy Needs a Checkup. You had like, and I don't know, you might even want to like lay it out
Which one was it?
So it was the one where you were talking about, okay, like you had like a stack, a stack of black cards, and then you surrounded it by like a bunch of red cards. Right. And so like you had like some face cards up representing people trying to penetrate through that force field of negative energy, but the red represented the negative energy around that person.
So, I mean, I'm going to put it like right here because I know that the thing is in the middle here. Okay. But it's kind of like this. Let me see if I can, I'm thinking about what they can see from that. That's my brain working. Yeah. So I had, one of the examples is, we'll have this black stack of cards here representing you. And actually, I'll do two small ones that'll kind of sort of mean kind of the same thing. Mm-hmm. But one of the examples I showed was the red cards surrounding you being similar to your aura or your energy. It's something that you can't see, but people can feel it. So when that negative energy is coming off of you, it's coming off from all directions, almost like a signal emitting from your body. Yeah. And you have to be mindful of recognizing that that exists. Mm-hmm. And once you're able to recognize that it exists, and I always tell people, like I said in the video, we're all prone to having bad days. We're all prone to being, pissed off and upset about something. But we have to acknowledge that we're in that state. Yeah. And when we walk into a different room, are we changing the whole energy of that room? Because just like this example, no matter where you are in that room, somebody's going to feel that snarl or that, whatever you're doing to change the energy of the room. So I always say, and I also do this similar example when I talk about depression. When you feel like all of these forces are around you, you have to be the one to control them. So I take the black cards off the middle, and now that negative energy, instead of you feeling like it's controlling you, like I gotta be mad, you control the energy by taking a part of yourself and saying, I gotta control this. Mm-hmm. And so now the red cards become black because that's a representative of you controlling the environment, controlling your emotions. And that's what card logic is about, is taking your emotions, painting a map of your emotions, and then rerouting you like a GPS to make a better decision. Yeah. Because a lot of us live in that energy, in that space, and we don't know how to get out of it. Right. And then we go to the next thing, and it piles up, and next thing you know, you blowing up on somebody, or somebody stepped on your shoe, you gonna punch them in the mouth, because you got all of that stuff. It's not even about that moment. Right. It's about that stacking, and that's what a lot of us do, especially in our community. We don't talk to people. We don't, and I never knew, like with card logic, mental health, that wasn't even, I didn't even realize that's what it was. Yeah. I was just helping people. And then somebody said mental health, and then I had that Scooby-Doo moment. I was like, oh. And I was like, it is mental health. Yeah. And then I was like, so this is even bigger than what I even initially started out, because I get off on troubleshooting. Right. I get off on seeing what your problem is. If it's a relationship, if it's a woman coming to me asking about a guy, I'm like, okay, lay it out for me. Yeah. All right, here's the strategy. This is what you did wrong. This is what I map it all out. I do puzzles and maps in my head. So when I thought about it as mental health, I was like, this is huge. Yeah. So that's why I want to take it as far as it can go. Yeah. So absolutely. Because I can say that particular simulcast, it hit me because it's funny, because it happened when I watched it. Mm-hmm. It was after I had a really rough day Thursday. Mm-hmm. And I felt my energy affecting other people. Right. Because it was like I just was not in the mood to deal with people. I wanted to be left alone. Every time somebody would come to my desk, every time somebody would call me, I had to work so hard to check myself, because I realized that force field I was emitting. Yeah. And it was just like, I don't want people to think like I'm being mean, or I don't like them, or I don't want to be bothered. Yeah. Even though in my mind I'm like, I really don't want to be bothered. But I had to realize that even on a subtle level, my energy was affecting people around me. Right. And then one of the other examples that I did on that show was, when you do that, a lot of times it will affect and infect another person and make them feel that way. Mm-hmm. And then they go home with your energy, and they give it to their kids, right, their husband or their wife, right, and you don't even realize where it came from, and your family's at home like, we just wanted to eat dinner with you. What's going on? Right. And then you gotta be like, it's not even about them. Mm-hmm. where did that come from? Oh,
Yeah.
it was that dude that was yelling at the thing. And so, yeah, and if we don't realize that about ourselves, like I say, it compounds itself, and you don't even know where it came from. And that's why, like, even now for myself, and people been doing it forever, but meditation and things like that, like, I'm just finally starting to realize how powerful that stuff is, to just be able to calm yourself and kind of think about what's going on. So,
it's important. It's important. And that was also evidence in the one where you talking about, I think it was, Am I Addicted to Dysfunction?
Right.
Like that whole transference of energy, like you in one bad situation and you allow it to change who you are, and then you take it and you take it to another relationship, and it might not be you in that relationship, but you go to another dysfunctional relationship, you take on that, and then when you finally get to somebody good, now you all messed up, and then you infecting them.
and I'm actually a product of that. And part of the origin of even where some of the skill set comes from this is just being that super nice guy, and then having these other, women that I dated early on, bringing a bunch of junk, and they cheated and did all this other stuff.
Right.
And I got to a point because, I'm born from an infant because of my mom and my grandfather. I'm an analyst. So instead of me kind of retreating into a corner, I had to figure out how I can make it so it wouldn't happen again.
Right.
So then I started looking at behavior patterns and speech and word choices, and like I said, OCD. I'm looking at English language only has a certain amount of words. The ones you choose, they mean something about your character or the region you grew up from. So I'm calculating like what's making you. So I'm looking at all of this and I'm painting a character profile. And now I do it with everybody, and I don't even realize I'm doing it. So when you come to me with your question, I'm like, okay, so yesterday I heard you talk for 5 minutes. This is your problem. This is boom, 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 boom. And so I lend that. So you multiply that over, 20 years.
Yeah.
Now I'm so surgical with it, and that's why I'm able to take these cards, and you could say, Derrick, I need you to come up with a demonstration about finance.
Yeah.
Well, because I'm consumed so much information, just like you, like I watch you too. You're like the Rain Man of like music. So we consume a lot of information.
Yeah.
And what I tend to do is I try to make sure, if at all possible, that there's not a topic that I can't chime in on. I might not be a master of it, but I can understand exactly what you're talking about, because you can say I'm a neurosurgeon. I'm gonna go ahead and I can build you a thing about that. I know a little bit about it.
Yeah.
And so that's why this is so powerful for me, because I can go in any room and you could say, hey, we have a conference for, I don't know, domestic violence.
Yeah.
And I can do a whole thing about domestic violence, and that may not be part of my resume, but I can build it against any of that just because of how I see things. Like, you give me a little bit of information, I'm going to give you a lot.
Yeah. It's funny that you're saying that, because as you were talking, like I was thinking, I'm like, man, we need somebody like you at my job when it comes to like, working through a lot of the issues that we have, and I think that's another area. I'm sure that's something that you already,
absolutely.
Like going to jobs, like doing like training conferences and things like that.
Yeah, I've done a couple trainings for like network marketing teams and things like that, just the mindset stuff and just getting people to understand. Like, if you don't mind, I want to do like a little, just to illustrate. So I'm gonna do two quick ones, and I'm gonna use the big cards. So, like, for an example, if this is what a lot of people do in business, and I'm gonna relate this to, like, I think you got like a producer of the week or producer something you're doing. So, like, this is what people tend to do. So, if these are my successes, right? Let's say these 4 cards represent my successes, right? So I'm gonna let you hold those and just fan them out, hold them up to the camera.
Okay.
Those are your successes, right?
Okay.
I'm going to come to the table. I'm going to try to be you.
Okay.
But I only get this far. So now what I'm doing is I'm watching you. I'm looking at mine, and it's not adding up.
Yeah.
So now what most people do is they quit. But an analogy that I want you guys to understand is, like, think about Uno, right?
Yeah.
When you play Uno, you see the person that's almost about to get Uno.
Yeah.
And you're like, dang, they won.
Yeah.
But a draw 4 might be waiting for them.
Right.
You gave up too soon.
Right.
So that's like one of the things. And then the second one I wanted to do for your people that's in the music and that's trying to get into the music game, producers, singers, rappers, or whatever, you have to look at your approach to the industry, and this is also for general business too. When you look at people who are trying to get into the industry, a lot of people have ego, right? So we'll just randomly take, like, let's say 5 cards, right? And I'm gonna try to find a like a king or a queen or something like that, or a face card. So this face card is going to be the person that wants to get into the industry, right? Yeah. And the rest of these cards are everybody else that's doing whatever you're doing, right? They're all different numbers, right? And what we tend to do is we tend to look at ourselves so egotistically that we say, I'm gonna go into this market, I'm gonna be a producer, and I'm gonna jump in there and they're gonna see me, right? And what ends up happening is the public doesn't see you, they see this. So now, when the public sees this, tell me which one is the jack. You can't. They all look exactly the same. Right. And so we're so cocky to think that we're, you know, we think this is us. Right. And you didn't do your research to see what everybody else is doing, to see what makes you different or anything like that. Yeah. And so I'm going to use one of these other colored cards. They're smaller, but I wanted to use it for emphasis. What you need to do, instead of trying to be like this crowd, you need to be this person. So when somebody looks at this, they know this is you, right? And that, and I lend that to just about anything you do, even what I'm doing with Card Logic. Like, I didn't want to look like anybody else. Yeah. And you know, we talked about the war for sameness. Like, people will kill you for what you got, because they want to be you. Right. Right. True. And I think Nipsey Hussle, like, it's crazy, and it's like that jealousy, and people, it's crazy because the type of person I am, my brain doesn't even work like that. But I've had several other businesses, and people would try to copy what you're doing, and I know you know, and you're like, but why? Why would you want to be me? Right. You don't even know what I went through to get here. Exactly. So it's crazy, but that's how we are. So I always, whenever I coach or train, I always tell people, you got to figure out what makes you different. Right. Because if you're not, it's going to we're in a global economy now. We have the internet. It's not just 10 other competitors. It's like the world. Like, if somebody go on Instagram and look for somebody to sell t-shirts, guess what? So I'm really excited about, like I said, the light bulbs going off. There's so many people out here, especially with social media, that it's kind of like we have more connections than we've ever had, but we keep ourselves isolated at the same time. It's just kind of weird. So, and people will walk around and have a dream and have access to the information, but won't do it because you know, fear. And I always let people know. Like, for another quick example that I'll do, I can do this. Hey, it's all good. I can do this all day, folks. Hey, I'm here for it. So another example is like when you have your goal. Let's say your goal is to be the best, I don't know, music producer in the DMV, right? Yeah. So your path to get to being the best music producer may have, how many cards is this? 5 cards? There may be 5 different ways for you to get to that goal. And what we tend to do is we'll look at, once again, that one way. Right. And when that one way doesn't work, we give up. And I always preach, there's always more than one way to get there. Absolutely. It may not look the same, but all of these other avenues still exist. You just got to figure out how to get there. And now we got the internet and YouTube, and you can go out and actually, like, touch people and shake their hand, you know, the old school way that people forget about. Like, you can go meet people, and then that's part of, like, people don't understand how big now being influential is and being an influencer, and that ain't nothing but networking. Yeah, absolutely. People don't, like, that's a lost art because we on these. Right. So it's like, once you start networking and meeting people and you start building up your influence, and I know there's a lot of people here that are like, you know, that listen to your show that's into music, and, you know, they're starting their own businesses. And so what I did, like the t-shirt thing, I had a t-shirt business. Yeah. 0 influence, right? You put my t-shirts on Instagram, it's in a sea of millions of other t-shirt companies, and a hard pill for me to swallow. And I'm saying this because I know that some people out there are struggling with this same thing. There's a lot of people out there with fantastic products with no influence. And even if you don't have influence, you have to try to find someone else's influence to attach to.
Right.
That's the name of the game these days.
It is.
And if you're not doing that, I had to shut my t-shirt business down because I had to regroup. Because I was like, people say they love it, but they not swiping the card.
Right.
But then somebody else may have something that may be a lesser quality, but it's 100 people wearing it.
Right.
And so they like, I want that one. I love your t-shirt, but the other people wearing it, I want to be popular like them. And I'm like, did you say you liked it? So I had to get over myself.
Right.
I had to get over myself, and I was like, let me just go ahead and shut this down and dig deeper and figure out what I truly love. Right. And that's where this came from. This came from me being pissed off about the t-shirt company not working. And I was like, let me go, because you know they always say your gifts make room for you. So I was like, if I really find something that I'm really passionate about, it will pave its own path.
That's right.
And then once I started showing this to people, and they was like, you need to be on a radio show. You need to go here. You need to go here. You know, and I was like, ding, ding, ding. That's the reaction that I was looking for. And when I actually see people say thank you, I didn't get it until I saw it. Yeah. And I was like, one of my other friends, she invoked the fact that she saw me do a demonstration when she was on a radio show talking about it. She was like, this is my friend does a thing with cards. Yeah. And I was like, aha, she recalled the visual. So that's when I was like, I think I got something here. Yeah. And that's when I started branding it and doing all this other stuff. And I was just like, I'm gonna keep going with this, and I'm gonna let it do what it do, cause everything else that I do, I'm doing it because I'm chasing money. Right. And it doesn't, when you do that, it'll stress you out. It'll drive you crazy. Yeah. It will drive you crazy. People always talk about, well, if I'm chasing money because I need money. We all need money. Right. But if you don't love it, you're gonna crash and burn. Exactly. I don't care what you're doing. You're gonna crash and burn. There's some people out there that, they got stuff that we feel like sometimes they may not deserve it or they didn't work hard for it, but that's noise. Like our president is one of them. Right. Like you can't. It's noise. Right. And that's why that demonstration that we did with the cars, like I had 2 and you had 4 or whatever. People don't understand your wins mean something too. Yeah. Even if they're not huge, you got to celebrate those small victories too. Exactly. Exactly. That comparison game and the social media is another reason why this is important, what I do, because people are like depressed. Yeah. People have stress and anxiety just by looking at somebody else's page. Right. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're definitely, what you're doing with Card Logic is definitely a breath of fresh air, specifically in this era of people pay more attention to visuals than darn near anything else. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people listen, but even with this show, like, people will listen on the app, people will listen online, but everybody, when the Facebook Live doesn't come up, people like, hey, what's going on? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We need that live joke. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, but I think what you're doing specifically, because we're in more of a visual age, I think it helps people to really work through those scenarios like you described, like especially in situations where people feel lesser than, or people feel like I have to level up to this person's level instead of working through my own level and building it up from the ground up.
Exactly. Most of the stuff we do, especially as entrepreneurs, it's a slow burn.
Yes.
Where we got this immediate, what I call microwave society. Like everybody just wants stuff fast, and that's why one of the biggest topics anyway in this era that we're in now is relationships. It's always been a thing, but now the way that we date is just so crazy and fast, and everybody wants immediate gratification, and the psychology behind that isn't that there's just these people just running around that just want fast stuff, and this is a player and this is that. It's a microcosm of what society is as a whole. Right. It was destined to go there. Yeah. Because everything else in our lives we get fast. So why wouldn't the relationships and everything else start pandering to that? Right. That's why we have Tinder. You just do that. Yeah. And that's how you find your date. And it's like, okay, conversation.
Right. Some form of connection.
Netflix and chill becomes a term, and it's like, so that's all you doing? That's the date? And that's why a lot of the stuff I do, I'm like, come on, man, you got to get the critical thinking. This is why you're making these decisions. This is why you keep meeting the same guy, because you keep making the same choices. You got you. Like, people don't understand that. Yeah. And one of the biggest lessons that try to teach people is it's not that players are just going to keep coming, whether they're male or female, because it's both.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just coming to you because you're cute. They're coming to you because you're prey. You got to figure out what makes you prey. What makes you? What makes them keep choosing you? There's something about you that makes them prey upon you time and time and time and time again. And people, our egos and our pride won't let us look in. And so that's why I try to paint this picture. This is how your mind works. This is why you keep going down this same path, because you haven't changed the way you operate.
Right.
You got a certain type where you're gonna keep picking that same type that's been hurting you all these years. Well, that's what I like. Okay, you like being hurt too.
Right.
And that's where that cycle of dysfunction comes in.
Yeah.
You keep getting used to it.
Yeah.
And you keep chasing after it, and you get so used to the pain that you think it's normal. And that's where a lot of women who end up in domestic violence situations, and they get out and then they go into another one. And they go into another one. And it's like, and you look at them like, why would they keep doing that? It's because they feel like this is normal.
Right.
This is normal. Why would you choose that 3 times in a row? Yeah. Like as soon as you even something felt like that, you needed, because you had it before, and it's like, no.
Yeah.
So a lot of this stuff, like I said, the mental health aspect of this. Once I realized that's what it was, I was like,
yeah.
And black men. And mental health, talking and therapy and all of that.
Yeah,
that's why ADST Dre, you know, that's one of his things that he champions, because a lot of us go through this every single day. Anxiety, depression. It may not be as enough for you to be on medication, but it's something that people, once again, social media, just life, and we don't know how to handle it.
Right.
And then it starts to look like, people like one of the, and this may be on or off topic, but like these kids hanging themselves, and people killing little babies, and people are like, oh, that's always been happening. I feel like it's happening more now.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's happening more now.
It definitely feels like.
And I'm just like, that just to be able to critically like figure out why before it happens. That's what I want to be able to try to like put in front of people, is the why. Like, this is why you think like this. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, let me go this way. And a lot of times that may mean you may need to go talk to a therapist. I always preach that. I am not a therapist.
Right.
But I will always say the words that I choose to use for this is, if you don't have the means or the wherewithal to be able to figure out yourself, you have to borrow that knowledge from someone else. Don't be afraid to borrow that knowledge from someone else until you can get to a point where you can solve those problems, because we're all about we can tell people what's wrong all the time, but until you provide a solution, then they keep that hamster wheel just keeps turning. So
absolutely. So what's been and this will be one of the last questions I ask. So what's been the reception, because I'm sure that Card Logic has definitely helped some people, but I know one of the things that you said, I think when it was more so about introducing the concept, like you said, how people actually laugh.
Oh yeah, it's a joke. It's a joke. It's a big joke. When people see that, they think I'm trying to teach them how to play poker, right? They like, what are you doing? Or they think I'm trying to do something like tarot cards. And so I've kind of morphed how I introduce it, because I see how people react to it. And people laugh at it because it's not traditional business model. So like, you'll take like people that sell insurance, or someone that has an accounting business, or they're doing taxes, and they'll say, this is our business. What do you do? And I'm like, oh, I Card Logic, and they're like, I don't know what that is. Have a good day, little boy. Go over there. I don't know what you're doing. And that kind of, like, for me, one of my biggest, I guess, pet peeves is when people believe that they're better than. And so that's like one of my, so when we're talking about intelligence, when we're talking about ability to be able to produce income and do all of that, the CPA and the insurance agent, I'm sorry, but you're not, you're working your business, but we all can do that.
Right.
And so when they laugh at it, that just gives me the ammunition to go harder. Like, that's what I do. And so when people actually see it, then they're like, aha. And then once they get that aha moment, then that makes them keep coming back to consume it. And as you know, on social media, and anybody who's in business knows this, people will watch you and they will never like or comment, but they're always there.
Yep.
Because you see them in the streets and they'll say, I see you doing your thing, man. And I'm like, I didn't know you was watching.
Right.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You done went on 3 radio shows and you done did, they can lay down your whole timeline.
Yeah.
And so you got to keep pushing. This is just a little nugget. If you don't know this already, even when you have 2 likes, keep doing it.
Yes.
It means nothing.
Yes.
Keep going. Because what you're doing, especially when you're doing like lives and you're doing video content, you're building a resume.
Right. Exactly.
So your 2 likes, even if they was 30 shows in a row, by the time you get to number 60, when you meet that influential person, they got 60 videos to watch.
Right.
And that's one of the nuggets that I had to learn, because when you look at it, you're like, oh, I got 700 people this week and 13 this week. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
I can't change my model because I feel like not enough people are watching it. And the next week I might get 500. It's not 700, but you just got to keep pushing your dream.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited about it. And I probably haven't been this excited about any business I've ever done because I was chasing it the way somebody else wanted me to do it. Like I did a lot of network marketing. I had a videography business one time, the t-shirt business. The t-shirt was just me. It was me trying to get off similar tones of what I do here on a t-shirt, and I would like pay attention to like entrepreneurs, and I would, give them things, hustle this and do that. And I'm like, you guys talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
Why they not choosing me? It was the influence.
Yeah.
So Card Logic, in short, was born because I needed a way to become influential in order for me to get back to the monetization.
Yes.
And I was like, if I'm going to do that, I need to love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
That speaks to me because, to be honest, that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm in radio. You know what I'm saying? It's not the sole reason, but it's one of the biggest reasons. And I realized because I have the radio show now, all of the other things that I do, now people are paying attention to those because of the radio show and the platform that I've built with this when I was on Breakout Kings last year. Like all the different avenues that I've created, everything, all of the success is really starting to come because of this one platform. And it's really just figuring out what's that one thing that's going to, like you said, get that influence.
You have to. And and that's one of the topics that I talk to Dre about all the time. And watching him, start to get noticed. And what it is when you love something and when you put your all into something, people start to notice it.
Right.
And you don't even ask for the attention. You don't even ask for the opportunities. They almost tend, like I say, the gifts make room for you. They tend, like stuff is happening with this that I just did a commercial that's going to be on Comcast.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I didn't ask for, that was just a piggyback in short from me going on a radio show and the guy saying, oh my God, people need to see this.
Yeah.
Let me put you on the phone with this person.
Yeah.
I didn't go in there for, I'm like, what? I didn't know whether to say yes or no at the time because I'm like, I'm still trying to grow it. And that's that fear that we have. And so he was like, I need to answer in an hour. And I was like, I can't even sleep on it. And I was like, you know what? I love this so much. Let me just go ahead and jump in the pool and do what I got to do because can nobody do this better than me. This is my baby.
Right. There you go. There you go.
I jumped in and did it. And so, things just start to happen and people are like, oh yeah, I saw you do this. Let me put you here. Let me do that. Let me do that. And I'm just like, I didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times people think a lot of the connections you make is because a lot of times you do chase it down, but a lot of times people just watch you move.
Right.
People watch your movements and they start to respect the grind and they're like, I trust that. And once you build that trust, then they're like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and mess with this dude.
Yeah. That's it right there. That's it right there. Yeah. So let everybody know how they can watch Card Logic every week and where they can connect with you on social media and also your website as well.
Okay, so the website is the nucleus for everything.
Yeah.
It will point you everywhere. It's www.mrcardlogic.com. That will point you to my every Wednesday at 8 p.m. I do a simulcast, so it goes to Periscope, YouTube, and Facebook at the same time. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. I'm trying to figure out another day when I have time to do because I want to do like maybe 2 a week. I'm doing that. So that will point you to all of those 3 platforms that you can go to and subscribe or share or like or whatever. And then on Wednesday night, whichever one you choose, it'll just pop up. and then everywhere else on social media, like everything points to the website. That's why I did that. I wanted one-stop shopping because somebody will say, well, what's your Instagram and what's your Facebook? And it may not be 2 words. It may be, this long thing. So I was like, go to the website and just link it. Yeah. So you go to the website, you get everything. That's MrCardLogic.com.
Yes. And I just like to thank you for coming on Bars.
Anytime.
Giving some visual presentation.
Yeah,
man, I was looking forward to that.
Yeah, man, it's powerful. Yeah. Like, people don't realize how powerful it is. It's very powerful to be able to visualize something because of the way our minds work. Right. We recall it better than we do, a lot of us, than words.
Yeah, and it's simple. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's not anything overly complex. It's very simple. Like I said, I'm a visual person, so a lot of those examples that you gave, I was just like, wow, that's simple. Just like that. So, man, keep up the great work, man. And you know what I'm saying? Any support you need from me, I got you, brother.
And vice versa.
Yes, appreciate that.
Because now I'm more, like, before this, I wasn't aware of your show, but now I'm on it. Like, I'm looking at it every week. Yeah. So, yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure y'all follow this brother. You know what I'm saying? Get some, if you need some remapping, this is the man that's gonna help you right here. So we're gonna go ahead and play some music for a little bit and come back and close the show. This is Don B the Artist with Lemonade. He on the official Hump Day Motivation for the DMV and beyond. This is Bars.
Trouble. You don't want to get caught up, Goddamn, you in trouble. Haha, you in trouble. Damn, you in trouble like, and she sipping on a lemonade. Ha, you in trouble. Oh no, you in trouble. Damn, you in trouble like, and she sipping on a lemonade. Hella chunks, better duck down. Use a punk, don't get bucked now. Hella drive, never bust down. Tryna play me like I'm dumb, sit your butt down. Money flowing, here she comes now. Surrounded by all these like a dog pound. I'm not talking to you women, sit your down. All you in your feelings, get your out. Aim between them 10 gold biddies. You made it working out, what a pity. Hands I'm saying pretty, feeling like the man of my city. Things about to get litty. You got some tree, let me match that. Very high, she got it as a tramp stamp. 2 amp, now my hotline blinging. Damn, why have you found a Snapchat? Goddamn, you in trouble. Haha, you in trouble. Goddamn. You in trouble like, and she sipping on a lemonade. Ha, you in trouble. Oh no, you in trouble. Goddamn. You in trouble like, and she sipping on a lemonade. Ain't sweet, just got body by a bitch with no AC. I guess a double wearing dresses with no panties, about to give with no Vaseline. Goddamn, why'd you gotta tell on my shit? Why'd you rather jump on my Why you so thick? Why you so beautiful and fit? Damn, where was I going with this? Oh, I apologize for the liquor and the lies. For the bitter taste of Eve's apple pie. I swear to God, with my hands in the sky. For your cookie, I would die for it. Dramatic, cry for it. But why'd you have to air it out? Everybody and your mama in our business now. I bet you made yourself proud, huh? Goddamn, you in trouble. Haha, you in trouble. Here we go again. You in trouble like, and she sipping on a lemonade. You in trouble. Oh no, you in trouble. Here we go again. You in trouble like, and she sipping on a lemonade. Damn, why'd you have to tell on my? Why you always had to have a fit? Why you yelling? Why you always acting like a? Why you always throwing on my? Goddamn, I didn't mean to call you a, but you always turn up over dumb shit. I fuck up one time and you wanna take it out on my whip. Have a heart, if you could only grant me one wish. Let me roll a zip since you always love to flip. Looking at it like you want a loaded clip. Looking at it like you want an empty clip. Why'd you wanna go and do that? Do that, hey. And why'd you wanna go and do that? Do that. And why'd you wanna go and do that? Do that, hey. And why'd you wanna go and do that? That.
Bars on Windy City Radio.
I actually like that tape. year, this could be your spot where you pull your new customer. If you're an asset or established business or entrepreneur and you believe you have the right product for our audience, then advertise with Bars. For more details on our rates, packages, and deals for first-time clients, email balancingactradioshow@gmail.com. That's balancingactradioshow@gmail.com.
I can't even front. I might not feel this way tomorrow, but it's just how I'm feeling right now. Just gonna talk about it for a minute. Feeling so good, I can't even front. Been locked for a minute, but I got the bars up. Young rocket with the beard, bound to catch him off guard. Young boy from the land, check the stats on the card. 12 years in my lane, but my back ain't to the basket. Just started dunking, prime been bustin'. Hooks are like shots, cause they getting more clutching. Lines in the pocket, no linen. I'm so geared for the grind, built for the time, mission on my mind. I believe that Jesus is God, no doubt about it. And trying to put my trust in the ghost, no St. Patrick. Yeah, that's some power for the operation. And even though the work legit, investigation, my heart being broken, innocence stolen, uncolonized mind forward with the motion. I want a Luke Cage with my hoodie and hair, but feeling like Trayvon every minute they stare. Ain't a chaplain on the slave ship, keep the idol worship. NRA fighter ship, love is dead, modern tip. I'm getting snug in this underground. I know the industry, and it'll let you down. Yeah, once your relevance is through, then it's on to number 2. I don't wanna be a fool, rolling with open palms, locked, titianing through, and keep a tight circle with the faithful, the few. Yeah. I love Christian rap and all that it's been, but if I'm honest, ain't been feeling when I'm listening in. A lot of music getting trite, adulting is getting light. Whoever fly the highest is jacking another's flight. I accept the call, but the politics played. If I'm lacking cosign, my records won't get played. If my music ain't fluffy, then I won't get booked. And the festivals is small when your hue look cooked. Peter Pan, I see the shadow coming. Elm Street dreams, I hear the claws chumming. Only so long before you figure your niche. I gave my 20s to the motions, now I'm making the switch. So you could keep your boxes, I'm boxing out of it, jumping over it. Homie, I'm CrossFit, and respect the OGs and the trail that you blaze. But if rapping ain't your passion, please don't jump on the wave. It's a new day, and the stage has been set. The harvest is plentiful, now it's time to collect. Yeah, said it's time to collect. The harvest is plentiful, now it's time to collect. Yeah.
Organizing any type of event to benefit the people in your neighborhood, then submit it for the Bars community calendar. Send all important information, including point of contact, to balancingactradioshow@gmail.com. That's balancingactradioshow@gmail.com.
As love turns to hate, I can't debate cause I got caught up too. But drew the line when it came to choosing her over you. You didn't do the same, her name was always on your lips. I had to come to grips, couldn't compete with those childbearing hips. She birthed generations through heroin, crack, and weed. And though I tried, I couldn't compare or give you what you need. To let you tell it, I let you smell it and you lost it. Now here this chick comes, scooping up John she had fostered. Surrogate mama, I once suckled at her breast, but I needed my own rest, so I packed my shit and left. She snatched the best I ever had, took him around the world and back, track after track, clearly an addiction. In fact, impact of global proportions, killing all my dreams now. Thought abortion, miscarried, now he married to the muse, got me sick. I used to inspire, now he got no time to stick. I'm feeling some type of way. What happened to our love? We used to vibe every day. Ayy, I feel you pulling away. I used to make you happy, now you got nothing to say. Ayy, I'm feeling some type of way. What happened to our love? We used to vibe every day. Ayy, I feel you pulling away. I used to make you happy, baby. It would be easier if he did me greasier for some ass, or a woman from his past, a groupie, something to smash. I wanna strike back, but how do you attack an abstract, a body that's formed? He still prefer her on his arm. This charm bracelet face, if my time wasted ain't issue, well ain't this about her? He said he can't live without her. I'd rather die, but they're pale in comparison. All he talk about is her. My feelings hurt, this is embarrassing. Now there's a chip on my shoulder, my heart grew colder. There's no cap boulders, I'm overthinking too much, too he couldn't give. That's no way to live. Outlook negative. I miss the days when things were positive. She the one true love. I'm treated like the mistress. Distress. He going out more and giving me less. When I say something about it, he laugh it off like you bugging. This whole energy different, like there's a bun in the oven. Funny thing about it is I never seen it coming. Pandora. 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 I'm feeling some type of way. What happened to our love? We used to vibe every day. Ayy. I feel you pulling away. I used to make you happy, now you got nothing to say. Ayy. I'm feeling some type of way. What happened to our love? We used to vibe every day. Ayy. I feel you pulling away. I used to make you happy, baby.
It's time to get back to AJ Throwback and Bars, only on WinDCRadio.com and the WinDC Radio app, powered by GoWin.media.
Yes. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. That was Star, Crazy DJ Bizarro with Pandora. Before that, we had C.W. Allen, my family, with Unsaid Things. Before that, we had Latasia Leak, one of my fellow Fresh Tribe members, with Divine Love. And starting off the set, we had Don B the Artist with Lemonade. Shout out everybody who tuned in on the Facebook Live specifically for the interview. Shout out Mrs. Alicia Dub Jones. Shout out Natasha Davenport. Appreciate you watching today. Shout out Latasha Carpenter as well. Larnice Fletcher. Appreciate everybody. Tarika. I seen Tarika peek her head in a little while ago. And just appreciate everybody just being a part of the live, participating, commenting, and just being a part of the conversation. That was really a great conversation as expected with Derrick Jones of Card Logic. So I appreciate him coming through again. Also, I wanted to point out something I just saw on Instagram. So, Tone P, as I mentioned before, anybody who doesn't know who Tone P is, Tone P was one half of Best Kept Secret Productions, who produced a lot of songs for Wale and other people around the area. I want to say they did the vast majority. If anybody knows about Chris Bars, he put out like one of my favorite mixtapes, like of anybody from this area the past 10 years a while ago. I can't even remember the name of the mixtape, but that's bad. But anyway, but Tone P, just to give you, background of who he is. So on his Instagram, he shared the CEO of T-Mobile, John, I guess it's Legere. I don't know how to pronounce his name. But anyway, so he replied to somebody on Twitter today at 11:38 a.m. and said, "I've looked into this issue myself and the music should not stop in DC. T-Mobile and Metro by T-Mobile are proud to be part of the Shaw community. The music will go on and our dealer will work with the neighbors to compromise volume." And at the end of the day, to me, that's what it's all about. Now, I hope that there's some kind of a follow-up to that to make sure that it doesn't get shut down. But the fact, and to be honest, John, we just gonna call him John from T-Mobile, CEO T-Mobile. He is very involved in the company. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a T-Mobile customer. And I'm not promoting T-Mobile or anything. This is not a commercial. But just seeing what he's done with that company and how involved and how interactive he is, this is somebody that I feel like if he says that he's going to make sure that that music is going to go on, then that music is going to go on. Because he's more or less been a man of his word. And he's somebody who's been visible and been active. So, again, we still have to monitor the situation to make sure that it is what he says it's going to be. But for the time being, I think that's a win. Maybe not the big win, but I think that that's a win because at least somebody from the top, the very top, is saying, look, we know we value our presence there in the Shaw community. We value that store being there, representing what he's been representing for the past 24 years, and we want him to remain a part of the community. So we're going to do everything we possibly can to make sure that he remains a part of that community and the music remains a part of that community. That's recognition. That's the main thing. It's like, look, we understand that DC is changing. We understand that, you know, economic development is happening. Now, granted, it doesn't benefit a lot of people who look like me or who look like the vast majority of you. But at the same time, recognize the communities that you're moving into and respect those communities. Respect the culture in those communities. And in the example that I read earlier, the fact that the Caribbean Festival, the Caribbean Parade does not happen in Petworth anymore, that's a shame because I've gone to many of those Caribbean festivals and they were awesome. You know, and Sweet Mango Cafe was a staple in the Petworth community, but with the proliferation of gentrification in DC and DC having the highest intensity of any US city. You think about cities that are way bigger than DC, yet we have the highest intensity of it. That's appalling. And it's unacceptable. So we have to do everything we possibly can to preserve our culture. And again, I have to emphasize this as I emphasized earlier. We have to own the land. And when we own the land, we have to keep the land. Because unfortunately, a lot of times with black people is that we get something, we own something, and then we're quick to sell it. And we're quick to sell it to somebody who doesn't look like us and who is not invested on preserving the legacy of what that product meant or what that location meant or whatever it was. They're not concerned with preserving the integrity. And you know, like one of the things that exactly, Calvin, we're gonna have to hold him accountable on this. And he said the CEO giving his word on the situation is a huge deal. Absolutely, Calvin. Absolutely. But one of the things that I was randomly thinking about, and I told my wife this, for me, the downturn of DC being a predominantly black city and gentrification happening in DC, I don't blame him for this, but when BET packed up and went to New York, when they left Northeast DC, and like, I'm gonna tell you something, it used to give me great pride and joy as a black person living in one of the blackest metropolitan areas in DC. It used to give me such pride riding up New York Avenue, roundabout where Dream and Love used to be, and riding past and seeing the trains and all that, but then seeing BET right across the way. When I didn't see that anymore, that's when I knew DC was about to change. Because at that time, the only predominantly black network was in DC. And it gave me even more pride. On top of us having Go-Go. And Go-Go being our own. And being something that has not been compromised. That has not been changed. That has not been proliferated to the point where we don't recognize the music anymore. You know, that gave me such great pride. But that's why I'm so hell-bent on us preserving what we do have left here in DC and as black communities all across the country, all across the world. We have to protect our own. We have to protect what's ours. And we got, and that's why I was so proud to see all of those videos of the huge crowds. Man, I wish I could have been at both of those events, the one on Monday and the one on Tuesday, especially the one yesterday. My goodness. I mean, you saw people, they were standing on top of bus stops, all type of stuff. I mean, they were cranking out there, cranking, you know. And that, to me, that represents the true pulse of Washington, D.C., as long as I've been alive. And I want that to continue. I want that to be the case, no matter what the percentages are of us versus anybody else. Our legacy still has to remain. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave that right there with that subject. But that's a huge deal, and that's good news in the midst of something that was very frustrating to me, and I'm sure to the vast majority of native Washingtonians. All right, let's go ahead and get into this right here.
Let's see what's happening on the bar's community calendar.
All right, so as I announced earlier, for those of y'all, and I'm sure that they're still going to keep it going, even though with this news, I don't think it really means anything. But as announced earlier, Black Alley, the band Black Alley, they're going to have a Don't Mute DC live performance this Saturday, April 13th at 4 p.m. at the intersection of 7th Street, Georgia Avenue, and Florida Avenue. The cost is absolutely free. So just show up. Show up outside. They're going to be cranking. They said they're going to keep cranking until they get shut down. So make sure y'all, you know, I don't think I'm going to be able to get out to that event. I really want to, but, you know, I will live vicariously through those who will be able to go. So make sure y'all visit their IG page at We Are Black Alley. Also, the non-profit tour, they will be doing their Epilepsy Sucks concert Wednesday, April 24th from 8 p.m. to midnight at Big Chief, 2002 Fenwick Street, Northeast DC. Artists unite for epilepsy to help raise money to fight this deadly disease. Through the power of music, rock out with Nonchalant, Cal Rips, Sir EU, Kenilworth Katrina, Kilo Letitia, and Pinky Killicorn. Mix and merch from 8 to 10 p.m. with Eat, ADST Apparel, and Grindstone, featuring DJ Marauder, Flawless, and hosted by Steph Lover. The cost is $15. For more info, visit Nonprofit, that's PROPHET, tour.com, or go on eventbrite.com and search Epilepsy Sucks Concert. These last two announcements I wanted to make. Shout out my main man Abel Putu, who I met during an event this past Saturday. It was a Feed the Homeless event. Shout out to Khadijah Bronson for putting on that event and bringing me into the fold as well. I DJ'd that event. Had a great time. It was a great day to do it. They fed, not only did they feed the homeless, but they also gave a bunch of sneakers away. So it was just a great thing. And she decided to do this for her birthday. Instead of celebrating her birthday, that's what she wanted to do for her birthday. So I met this brother, Abel Putu, who's actually on the MedStar NRH Punishers. And they actually have basketball practices every Monday evening at right around the corner from me, East County Community Center, 3300 Briggs Cheney Road in Silver Spring, Maryland. The cost is absolutely free, so if you just want to show up to the practices, you can. They do have games, regular games that I believe you can buy tickets for. So to find out more information, visit www.nwba.org. That's for the National Wheelchair Basketball Association. Let me make sure I specify that. And click the league's drop-down menu. Go to Division 1 and click on MedStar NRH Punishers. And another announcement he wanted me to make was a GoFundMe fundraiser for Alice Dennis. Those of you who may or may not know, may or may not know, Alice Dennis, she was a young lady. She was, I want to say, 34 years old. Either 33 or 34. She was unfortunately murdered, allegedly by her husband at the time, a man named Rule Dempster. She was murdered, and the family, they decided to do a GoFundMe page for her. Originally, it was for her homegoing service, but people are still contributing to this cause, and you know, to help out the family and everything. So to find out more information, you can visit gofundme.com/homegoing-of-Alice, Alice-Dennis, Dennis. So, she left behind 2 young children, and, any contributions that you can make toward, helping her family out, that would be greatly appreciated. So shout out once again to Abel Putu for bringing that to my attention. Before we close, let's go ahead and get into this right here.
Words of wisdom to get you through the rest of your week. These are the bars for life.
So, actually, we're gonna quote who was just on the show. In his episode, Embracing Your Purpose of Card Logic, Derrick Jones, we just had here, he gave a visual of a bunch of red cards scattered and said, your purpose is this big. Then he laid a single black card on top and said, your excuses look like this. But then he ultimately said, your excuses should never outweigh what you're destined to be here for. This, your purpose, is always going to be bigger. You just have to listen to it. And that was powerful. Like, I think it definitely resonated with me as somebody living out more of my purpose now as I'm older, closer I get to 40 years old. And I'm not ashamed to put my age out there. I don't care. I'm proud to be where I am in life. But anyway, a lot of times we do get stuck on the excuses or the reasons why we can't go to that next level, or we can't do that thing that keeps calling us, that keeps calling our name. And so we have to realize that our purpose is so much bigger than any excuse that we could possibly offer up, because it's from God. He gave us that purpose. So why would we try to shrink that down to 1 excuse or 2 excuses or even 10 excuses? So we have, if you know that there's something that you are passionate about, there's something that you should be doing, whatever you have to do to get to that point, even if, and this is one of the things that he was emphasizing in that particular episode, even if you got to work that 9 to 5 and do the purpose as a side hustle, still do it. Don't give up on it. You don't want to look back 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now and saying, dang, I still want to do it. I feel like it's too late. It's never too late as long as you got breath in your body. It's never too late as long as you still feel that purpose resonating within you. So shout out to Derrick Jones for that nugget right there. I definitely want to make sure I don't forget the shout outs, the birthday shout outs. We always got to shout out everybody who's celebrating birthdays. Aries season still rolling along. Shout out Shamika. I hope you watching. And my main man Mark Williams celebrating birthdays today. Yolanda, aka my twin, because we are kindred spirits like a mug. She's celebrating a birthday tomorrow. So happy birthday early to you, sis. My main man Ryan Lucas, Fresh Tribe member, leader, creator of the Fresh Tribe. And also Dorothy Myers. They'll be celebrating birthdays on Saturday. Lola, she's going to be celebrating a birthday on Sunday. And Elise Nicole will be celebrating a birthday next Monday. So shout out all of the Aries out there still representing the season. One last thing. I definitely want to make sure I close the show with this right here. Give me 1 second to pull up, because I didn't get to do it earlier, but I can't have the show without doing this right here.
It tastes just like it smells. Delicious.
Right before you take that long-awaited break and get your grub on, come and get a hefty helping of life and laughter, courtesy of stories about our beloved Team Bars El Capitan. It's time for Luncheon with the Misses, only on Bars.
So yeah, we're going to close out the show a little different this week. Normally that's right around the lunch hour because of the, the technical difficulties and everything. I didn't really get the chance to do it right around the lunch hour, but I can't close out the show without this right here. So, this isn't necessarily like one of those funny or quirky ones like I normally do, but I usually have like a title for a lot of my segments, and so this particular one was Finding the Door in the Escape Room. And I'm going to tell you why I said that. So, anybody who watches This Is Us faithfully like I do, I watch it every single week. I don't miss one episode. The season finale for, I want to say is season 3, if I'm not mistaken. For season 3, it was titled Her. And anybody who's been watching knows that they've been showing how Randall and Beth have been going through some issues because Randall, he just became a council member in Philadelphia. And Beth, she decided to go back to school, to teach dance. And so their schedules kept clashing and they got into these huge, big arguments and stuff like that. You know, Randall was being a jerk about certain things. Beth was being difficult about certain things. And they were at an impasse and they didn't know really what to do. And so you see in one part of the episode where, you know, Beth is like to Randall, like, remember when we went to that escape room and the girls were freaking out? But right before we were about to have a total meltdown, we found the door. And then she said, I don't see where the door is with this situation, and then walked away. And so later in the episode, what ended up happening was she figured out what to do right before Randall was, you know, he was thinking, it was like, dang, should I quit being a council member? Like, he really considered not being a council member anymore. But in the midst of that, Beth was trying to figure out, okay, how can I adjust this situation? So she got the idea as she was looking around, like, why don't I start my own dance studio? And why don't I start it in Philly? And so you see that by the end of the episode, she said to Randall, you don't have to stop being a council member. Right when he was telling her, I'm going to quit or I'm going to resign, she was like, don't do that. I found the door. And then she started explaining all of the things like, I'm going to open a dance studio in Philly. We're going to move to Philly. And Randall was like, well, you know, we got married in this house and we grew up in this house. The kids grew up in this house. And she said, this served us well, but it's time to move on. And so tying this with this particular segment, Lunching with the Mrs., me and my wife, you know, we had a discussion about some things that she wants to do. She's currently in nursing school right now. And she wanted to take a CNA course. But because of my work schedule, and the fact that we didn't have a solid babysitter that we could, you know, like we could take that was close to us, she was getting frustrated. And so, you know, like when she called, she was just like really upset about things. And I immediately, it was like God knew what he was doing by having me watch that episode, because I watched it literally the night before she called me. And I thought about that, and all I could hear in my head was, find the door. Find the door. And so we just talked through the situation. I was like, okay, what do you need to happen in order for you to take this course? And so we talked through a lot of things, and we figured it out. Because a lot of times when you get in situations like that, it's easy to get frustrated. It's easy to fight with each other about it. But frankly, kind of connecting it with a lot of what Derrick explained with, you know, energy, or leading with a certain type of energy so that people are more receptive to it. I led with a certain type of energy in order to help this situation along, in order to help my wife clear her mind and not worry about certain things. Because I mean, like, it you know, I really felt for in that moment, because, you know, it was like, okay, when is it going to be my time? You know, and immediately I thought of Beth, because Beth said the same thing throughout the season, or throughout the later parts of season 3 of This Is Us. And that's all I heard. I was like, okay, I don't want to be Randall. So let me figure out where this door is. So we talked through it, figured out everything, and now everything is working itself out. And the panic is gone, and she's excited. And really, I think that's also part of Bars for Life. Even though this was a Luncheon with the Mrs. segment, that's also a part of the Bars for Life. You got to find that door. If you don't see a way out, you got to keep working through it until you find that door. Because you don't want to, one of the words that she used during the conversation was stuck. And one of the things that I wanted to make sure that I did, or I tried to help her through, was not feeling stuck, was not feeling like there isn't a way out of this situation or a way into a better situation that benefits her, that makes her feel like I have something of my own. Because that's important. Even though you're married and you're involved with people, you want to feel like there is some form of individuality that you retain, although you're married to somebody else, although you're a mother, or although you're a father, although you're a husband, or although you're a wife. You want to make sure that there's still some semblance of, one, individuality, and two, some form of contribution to the relationship, to the union, to the unit, to the nucleus. That you don't want to just feel like I'm not doing enough, or I don't have something that's mine, that's my own, on top of having something that's in common. And so that's really the message from Lunching with the Missus this week. I mean, it's a way really to, show that marriage is difficult, unions are difficult, any kind of relationships are difficult, but a lot of it comes down to compromise. And, my wife has really taught me how to be more patient and how to really consider what she's going through and consider that in order to reach something that makes the both of us happy. Because they always say happy wife, happy life. You know what I'm saying? And whatever I can do to make sure that my wife is taken care of and that she's loved and she's appreciated and she feels like she can thrive, I'm willing to do. And I implore the same thing of all spouses out there, all partners out there. Do the same for your partners. Think about your partners and what they need. Don't just think about you. And that's it. That's it, man. Make sure y'all stay tuned later today for DMV Culture Club at from 6 to 8 p.m. and Grind Season Radio from 8 to 10 p.m. right here on WinDCRadio.com, the WinDC Radio app. Many of these shows available Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and it's all, of course, powered by GoldWin.media right here from the shops at Iverson, proudly and live. I want to thank everybody who tuned in today. I appreciate every single member, brand new or ride or dies, Team Bars. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Like I say every single week, y'all keep me motivated to do this right here. Also, shout out to our producer of the week, Daily Ites Beats. You can follow him, Facebook, Instagram, Daily, D-A-I-L-Y, Ites, I-T-E-S, Beats, B-E-A-T-S. And you can also go on his website, dailyitesbeats.com. For those of y'all who are artists and need some beats, check him out. He specializes in reggae, dancehall, Afrobeat, and hip-hop music. And he does some R&B too. Also, of course, shout out to my special guest for today, Mr. Derrick Jones of Card Logic. Man, amazing demonstrations, amazing story. Make sure y'all subscribe to his pages. Go to MrCardLogic.com. That's MRCardLogic.com. And you'll be able to connect with him all across the board from right there. You'll be able to watch his simulcast, which come on. I think he said he's going to delay it this week. But usually it's every Wednesday, 8 p.m. simulcast. So make sure y'all tune in and plug into that. May be able to help y'all work through some things that you may be going through yourselves. So, and then shout out all the independent artists who send us music every single week, who support the show, support the platform. Everybody who shares, likes, comments, participates in the process. You are important and you are appreciated. And I love each and every last one of y'all. Make sure y'all tune in next week. Please tune in next week. Special show, April 17th. I got the legendary Nonchalant will be calling in next Wednesday, 11:15 a.m. Talking to her about a lot of what she's got going on, and including promoting her new single with Kenilworth Katrina and Rod the MC, Retrina 9, which made the 5 Alarm Blaze countdown last month. Good chance it'll make it this month too, depending. But we'll definitely be talking to her. And also returning for his second interview. We're going to work it out whether it's going to be in studio or over the phone. But King Mars representing Philly, he will be back next week at 12 o'clock. So make sure y'all tune in next week. It should be a great show on deck. It's always great shows. You know what I'm saying? Look, I ain't afraid to brag. I ain't afraid to big up this platform. You know what I'm saying? It's dope. It's dope. But y'all help make it that way. So please enjoy the rest of your week, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy your weekend. The weather should be improving throughout the week. So today is pretty nice. I mean, even though it cooled down a little bit, it's still a nice day outside. So make sure y'all get outside and get some sunshine. You need it. Need it for life. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and close out. And I'm gonna dedicate this one to the missus. My man Aaron, I gotta shout out my man Aaron. He put me on to this brother. Man, I forget the name of the album because it's like Sauce Drip. It's like a bunch of buzzwords, young people buzzwords. So it's like kind of like a play on that. I'll try to get y'all the information for this album. But Chris Classic, man, this album is dope, and this is one of my favorite songs from his album, featuring Davion Ferris. This is Coretta on the official Hump Day Motivation for the DMV and beyond. I will see y'all next week. Again, enjoy the rest of your week. Peace, y'all.
CH Monstrosities,
Classic. Yeah. Oh, for my one and only. True fame, world acclaim, and pretty women. Private plane, finer things, luxury living. Simple leather, the Porsche Carrera is rarely driven. Sexual appetite superseded for something different. True goals, tied the knot, no loopholes. On the road, foul shots, not shooting nose. Self-control, I'm growing up. No rally oops for all the lives they growing up. Yeah, security is an added feature. The reason I reach a uterus just a little deeper. All trust, loyalty is your favorite trait. All us, royalty in a major way.
I wanna love you forever, 'cause every king needs their Coretta. There's nobody better.
Nobody better.
I wanna love you forever, 'cause every king needs their Coretta. There's nobody
Started off
better.
chilling at first, cause honesty works, and you lived in Atlanta, plus you know that I flirted, so we made no promises, just something casual. Didn't want monogamous, the feelings came gradual. Both had sons from previous situations, probably the biggest of perceived limitations. But when we made love, I was feeling in your soul. Multiple arrivals, so why would we ever go? True beauty, big booty, Aquarius with various energies, moody. But then it came the time when I put it on the line. Now your last name's mine.
Nobody better. I wanna love you forever, 'cause every king needs their Coretta. There's nobody better. I wanna love you forever, 'cause every king needs their Coretta. There's nobody better.
Grown man, hold hands when in the mall. Romance, slow dance and stun them all. 4 bands, Ferragamos is all tan. Strong-minded, I so invited, I'm grown man. You really know me like one of the homies, OG. Get Tony and Tony for anniversaries. It never rains in Southern California. Take you to Santa Barbara for marijuana. PCH, medicated on THC. Celebrating, life's great, no TMZ. Promise to only love you better. When the conversation is honest, your kitten's wetter. All trust, loyalty is your favorite trait. All us, royalty in a major way. But then it came the time when I put it on the line. Now your last name's mine.
Nobody better. I wanna love you forever, 'cause every king needs their Coretta. There's nobody better. Nobody better. I wanna love you forever, 'cause every king needs their Coretta. There's nobody better.
Nobody better.
Baby, there's no one better. Baby, there's no one better.
bars, 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 bars.
And that's it.
I did it. Mommy did it?
Yes. I do it.
Oh.